Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Cooler temperatures have moved into Kansas City today after a hot, humid night last night. More of a temperate afternoon today. Welcome to Kauffman Stadium. Game 2 in this series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen. We are glad to have you with us here for Game 2 in the series, and Michael Fulmer will take the mound today for the Tigers coming off the disabled list. Still on a bit of a pitch count for the Tigers.
Well, he'll probably get up to about 90 pitches here this afternoon. That's what Ron Gardenhire told us yesterday. And more importantly for Michael Fulmer, he really hasn't pitched very well in this particular ballpark. He'll need to be a whole lot better this afternoon if he's going to beat this Kansas City Royals team, which swung the bats very well last night.
All right, let's examine the matchup today. You've got Michael Fulmer for the Tigers. Danny Duffy will go for the Royals. Two guys that have spent some time on the DL this year, but two guys that really pitched pretty well their last time out.
And also two guys that are respective aces of their squad. When you start talking about Duffy, he's a left-hander. He's got power stuff. He's got a fastball that will get up to 96 miles an hour. He also has a very good changeup and a breaking ball. If you start talking about Michael Fulmer, he's got the fastball package as well. He's got a wipeout slider. He's got a really good changeup. Both of these guys will have to deal with two of the players on the respective teams. If you're Fulmer, you got to deal with Whit Merrifield. He's hitting him at a 438 clip. And if you're Duffy, you got to deal with Nicholas Castellanos, who's been killing left-handers all season long. So we'll watch for those matchups very closely this afternoon.
All right, we got a glimpse of what Jacoby Jones can bring to the ball club last night. Made a great running catch out in center field. If he ever puts it all together offensively, this guy's going to be a dynamite big league player.
He can be dynamic. There's no question about that. And he has shown us flashes of brilliance during the course of this season as he has grown in left field or center field. He gets great jumps. He takes wonderful routes. He has tremendous athleticism. He has one of your better throwing arms of any of the outfielders in our sport. He's fearless on the base pass as well. And every now and then, when you throw him that cookie breaking ball, as he got last night from Jacob Junis, a hanging breaking ball, he sent it traveling into the left field seats. I'm encouraged about the future of Jacoby Jones in center field for the Tigers because of the athleticism. Mara, but you brought it up. At some point in time, this young man's going to have to hit. There's no doubt about that.
All right, now speaking of dynamic players, Adalberto Mondesi is dynamic as they come. And last night he showed it again, playing great defense. He also homered in the ball game last night. Mondesi's a guy to keep your eye on in the future.
No doubt. He comes from really good bloodlines. His daddy's name was Raul Mondesi. He was a Rookie of the Year for the Los Angeles Dodgers way back in the day, and their games are totally different. His daddy had a power arm from the outfield and tremendous power with the bat. When you start looking at the younger Mondesi, this guy's got real nice athleticism at second base and at shortstop. He's the shortstop of the future. He's got a huge arm and he's got huge upside, but really he's got 80 speed. I mean, this guy can really run a lot of bases, 12 bases since the All-Star break, which paces the major leagues. He's a really exciting player, and it's what the future is for this Kansas City Royals team when they go into the future with Mondesi as their shortstop.
All right, after a short break, we'll send you back to the Coliseum Studios. Check in with Mickey Yorka and Craig Monroe. And coming up in this one here today, you know what we like to say, you can't spell wit without hit. Two more knocks last night for Merrifield. Tigers-Royals, Game 2, the finale, coming up next.
by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By Dodge. Hurry in and get a great deal at the Dodge Labor Day sales event. And by Greektown Casino Hotel, the only casino in the heart of downtown Detroit. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Kansas City. Michael Fulmer set to make his second start since coming off the disabled list with an oblique strain. On Friday night against the Chicago White Sox, Fulmer went 4 2/3 innings, struck out 4, and limited the Sox to just 2 hits. But he was on a pitch count that day, and Ron Gardner felt like 77 pitches was ample for Michael, although Fulmer felt like he could have gone much deeper. Today, the pitch count will be extended a little bit.
You already mentioned something about maybe ramping it up a little bit, 15, 20 pitches or so. So, I'm going to bargain for all 100, 110 I can get. So, as long as he doesn't make the move right out of the dugout this time. But, everything feels good. I'm a little more sore than normal because I think I just haven't had that type of adrenaline in a while. And not that pitching an A-ball doesn't give me adrenaline. I still compete and stuff, but just a little extra stress on the shoulder and everything. So, but everything feels good now.
Again, today the pitch count will be extended a little bit as Fulmer looks to return to his ace status. The Plumber, winless in 3 career starts here at Kauffman. Could today's matinee be his first victory? Lineups and first pitch with Mario and Rod coming your way next.
City, 71 degrees, our game time temperature here at Kauffman Stadium. Tigers-Royals game 2. Here's the starting lineup for the Tigers presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. A couple of changes today. You got Candelario, Iglesias, Castellanos top 3. Nico is at first base. Matuk at left. Ronnie Rodriguez at second. You got Griner, Jones, and Reyes rounding it out, and they will face Danny Duffy, presented today by MGM Grand Detroit.
And Duffy's got good stuff. He's got a fastball that will go anywhere from 90 to 96 miles an hour. He, too, like Michael Fulmer, spent a little bit of time on the disabled list through 96 pitches the last time he was out there. Overall, it's been a disappointing season for Danny. 7-11 with an ERA approaching 5.
So it's Candelario leading it off, the lefty on the mound. So Candy will bat right-handed. Candelario at 229 was 1 for 3 last night. Duffy's 1-0 is in there for a strike.
And Duffy's got all 4 pitches. He's got fastball, curveball, slider, change.
29-year-old out of Lompoc, California, swinging a miss. On front was Candelario. The count is 1-2.
And Danny Duffy, one of the few starting pitchers that works exclusively out of the stretch. And the reason for that is a few years ago he was pitching out of the bullpen, and he was pitching so comfortably out of the bullpen that he just kept this same approach when he was inserted back into the rotation.
Slowly toward the shortstop, running scoop. Mondesi throws him out.
Take a look at the Kansas City Royals starting defense behind Danny Duffy this afternoon. You've got Gordon in left. He's won 5 Gold Gloves. Phillips in center field has a very good throwing arm. Bonifacio, he's in right. We may be looking at the future infield of the Kansas City Royals with Dozier, Mondesi, Merrifield, and O'Hearn in the infield. And their backup catcher this afternoon, Drew Butera, subbing for Sal Perez.
Adalberto Mondesi, who was fabulous in the ballgame last night, tested early already today. Nice running play. Here is Jose Iglesias. Iggy was 0 for 4 in the ballgame last night. Was robbed a couple of times, though, down at third base. Foul back 1-1. Tigers have not had good success on the road this year. That is no secret. They are 19-45 away from Comerica Park. And this, of course, the beginning of a 9-game road trip for Ron Gardenhire and the Tigers. Popped up foul down the first base line. O'Hearn will run out of room. Here's the Bernstein advantage for this one. Career numbers against Danny Duffy, 10 for 27.
With a little bit of extra base damage against Duffy.
He is homered against him this year. Now the 1-2. Slap to right field. Base hit just over the glove of O'Hearn. And the Tigers have their first hit.
A hanging breaking ball here thrown by Danny Duffy, and Iglesias stays back long enough to shoot the ball the opposite way. What's happening with Iggy? He kind of jogged down the line kind of gingerly as he got down toward first base, like he's bothered by some kind of leg injury.
Sure looked like it.
Still got that frown on his face, too.
Here is Nicholas Castellanos. Nick was held hitless in the ball game last night. He is DHing today, so that's as close as he will come to getting a day off.
He's got great numbers against left-handed pitching. He really has been one of the best in baseball all season. His numbers against lefties over 400.
19 home runs this year for Castellanos. Nick right now is on pace for 182 hits this year. His career high last year was 167, so he's well above that pace. And the damage he does against lefties is well documented. 408.
And 3 straight fastballs thrown by Danny Duffy to Nicholas Castellanos, that last of which at 93 miles an hour. They don't miss a whole lot with Butera behind the plate as far as the game calling is concerned. He doesn't throw like Salvador Perez, but he's an outstanding backup catcher, very smart. His father also caught in the big leagues.
That'll go foul, third base side. By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Free small order of curly fries will be yours. Goodrum waiting on deck. Tigers trying to strike early in this one. 1 on, 1 out. Drilled to left field, hooking and foul. That would have scored a run had he straightened it out. Iggy laboring back to first base.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Iggy, but there's something going on. But he's okay.
Angel Hernandez behind the dish for this one today. Rehack, Titchener, and Miller, the rest of the crew. Danny Duffy has had a bit of a struggle in the month of August. In 3 starts, a 7.71 ERA. We mentioned the DL stint. And again, the 0-2. Just off the plate. Looked like Angel wanted to call it there, but didn't.
Tigers have seen Danny Duffy a bunch. He had 21 starts, a total of 24 appearances. He comes in 7-10 career against the Tigers with an ERA close to 5. Nicholas has seen a bunch of pitches all over the strike zone. In, out, high, low.
High again, and now level the count at 2-2.
And the one pitch that Duffy has not thrown Nicholas Castellanos as of yet is the changeup. Thrown over to first base right here. A little thumb sign by Butera. Just to make sure Iglesias is not trying to get too big of a jump off of first base.
Jose with 15 steals this year. That is a career high.
Going to throw Nicholas a breaking ball here.
Got him. And Castellanos goes down on strikes. First punch out of the ball game for Duffy.
Pretty nice job there by Duffy. A nice execution of that pitch, finally getting Nicholas Castellanos out with that breaking ball. We saw several fastballs. We saw several sliders. And finally went to the slow curveball to get Nicholas out on that front foot at 83 miles an hour.
Two away now for Nico Goodrum. Batting in the cleanup spot today for the Tigers. Goodrum only 179 here in the month of August, so he has slowed considerably this month.
Yeah, he had a really good month in July.
He was the Tigers player of the month in July, as a matter of fact. And then August rolled around and it kind of reversed trend a bit. 13 homers, 41 driven in.
And Nico also has a lot of extra base hits.
Ball up top, and the count now is 2-0 on Goodrum. Lights are on here. It's hazy and overcast. The sun has been battling, trying to burn through the clouds, but a much cooler afternoon today compared to yesterday when it was in the 90s and very humid. Ball 3. Mikey Matuk would bat next if Goodrum were to reach here in the first.
I wouldn't be afraid to turn Goody loose here on the 3-0 pitch. You know you're going to get a fastball right down the middle here from Danny Duffy. And Goody has been struggling just a little bit. It could possibly get you going. Fastball right down the middle. You stay within yourself and you take a really good swing at it.
Wasn't close. He'll take ball 4, and there are 2 on now for the Tigers. First walk for Duffy, and the pitch is starting to pile up now. He's thrown 20 here in the first. It'll bring up Mikey Matuk. Mikey's been on a pretty good little roll here. He's been on base in 13 straight games. Strike 1 on Matuk.
And Dave Clark has some decisions to make regarding Iglesias. If Matuk gets a base hit into the outfield, Gordon, well, he's one of the best throwers from left field in the business, so you got to be careful on a base hit to left. The one kid that's interesting is the Phillips kid in center field. He's got a 65 arm on a scale of 80, so 65 is really, really good. So he's got a tremendous throwing arm from that position. Herrera in right field, just an average arm, but those are decisions that the third base coach has to make prior to the ball being hit.
Now Duffy still struggling with the control here. 2-1. That's going to bring Butera out to the mound.
Duffy apparently does not like pitching in the sunshine. 13 starts this year, a 3-8 record with an ERA over 6 during the daylight. Much better at night.
He's not been very good at home either this year. The home ERA is nearly 7. Tigers trying to tack onto that here in the first. And Mikey looks at a ball high, and now it goes to 3-1.
They had a pickoff play on right there. O'Hearn, the first baseman, tried to sneak in behind Nico Goodrum, but Ramon Santiago, the first base coach, he was all over it, telling Goody to get back.
Line drive to center field, going to drop, base hit. Phillips comes up throwing. There's going to be a play. No, it bounces to the mound and over the catcher, and the run will score. A little bit of a break there. The throw not a very good one from Phillips offline, and Iglesias comes around.
That's the one thing that you have to deal with if you are a center fielder. You have to deal with trying to get the ball over the mound. Really patient at bats, first of all, by the Tigers in this particular inning against Danny Duffy. Finally driving in a run here was Mikey Matuk. But here Phillips comes up and he fires the ball toward home plate. He throws it rather hard, but it hits that mound and it bounces straight up in the air. You have to try to get it over that mound if you're going to throw guys out at home plate.
And Ronnie Rodriguez steps in now. Tigers have him at the corners. They lead 1-0 on the RBI for Mikey.
Mikey continues to swing a hot stick.
6-game hitting streak now for Matuk. Ronnie pops it up. Third base side for Dozier. And that will end the inning. Tigers score first, though, and the RBI single by Matuk. Nothing as we go to the bottom of the first. It'll be Michael Fulmer on the mound, presented today by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And second start for Michael Fulmer after landing on the disabled list for about 5 weeks. He looked outstanding against the White Sox. Only 2 hits. Fastball got up to 98. Slider was good. Changeup was good. He'll throw about 90-95 here this afternoon.
So Fulmer goes to work here with a 1-0 lead. Whit Merrifield will lead things off for the Royals.
And Michael pitched 4 2/3 innings that day before Ron Gardenhire had to go get him at just 77 pitches.
Merrifield looks at a strike. Whit had 2 hits in the ball game yesterday, 2 out of 4. Fulmer trying to build on that last start, his first one off the disabled list, and he pumps in another strike, 0-2.
And one thing about Michael Fulmer, just about every fastball that he unleashes here today will be about 95 miles an hour and above.
Popped up first base side for Nico in foul ground. 1 gone.
Here's the remainder of the KC lineup presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. You saw Merrifield. He is followed by Gordon and then O'Hearn. Duda is the DH. Dozier, Bonifacio, Mondesi, Phillips, and Butera catching today. Fulmer in that first start off the DL was, what, 97, 98 with the fastball early.
He was electric. Ball was coming out of his hand nicely.
We talked to Michael the very next day on the broadcast, and he said he had made some mechanical adjustments while he was in Lakeland rehabbing, and it led to increased velocity, at least on that day. Today his fastball has been around 94 in the early going here. That one in 95.
And the key for Michael Fulmer, first pitch strikes. Once Michael's able to get ahead of you because his secondary stuff is so wicked, he's able to put you away with the really good slider or the changeup.
Gordon pops it straight up right at home plate. Greiner is backing to the grass, and it finally nestles into his glove.
McLaren Health Plan brings you the Tigers starting defense behind Michael Fulmer this afternoon. You've got Mata, who's already driven in one run this afternoon. Jones back out in center field after homering in last night's contest. Victor Reyes gets to start over in right field today, the Rule 5 drafted player. Goodrum at first, Ronnie at second, Iglesias, he's at shortstop, and Candelario at the third base position, and Grayson Greiner, and he gets the nod behind the dish today.
Nico's been all over the field this year, mostly second base, but they got him at first today with the lefty on the mound. Ducey sits down. Good to have that versatility, and for Goodrum, he played just about any place. High fly ball center field. It'll be playable for Jones, and that will be a 1-2-3 inning for Michael Fulmer. He needed just 8 pitches. Here at KC, 1-0 Tigers out to the early lead as Grayson Greiner leads it off against Danny Duffy. It'll be the bottom 3: Greiner, Jones, Reyes.
And Duffy wasn't very good in first pitch strikes thrown in the first frame, but it gets ahead of Greiner with strike 1, now strike 2.
Duffy threw 27 first inning pitches, so the Tigers made it work, especially Castellanos, who eventually struck out, but worked him pretty good. Mott took an RBI single in the first. Greiner looks at a ball low.
I was talking to Greiner in the clubhouse today, and he noticed what we noticed yesterday. Sal Perez, the catcher for the Royals, wearing the sweatband with the pitching reports on it. And he said that's something that he might incorporate into his game in the future. He says
really?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, he did say that. He said he noticed it about the same time we noticed it, and he thought it was different too. Not many catchers do that.
Here's the 2-2.
Weren't with us. Sal Perez, the catcher for the Royals, had a looked like a little, I don't know, quarterbacks kind of where he kind of flipped something up, and he kind of looked at the scouting reports of what the Tigers were doing, and he looked at it after several pitches to get what he should throw at certain times.
Walked him. So Danny Duffy with another base on balls.
Time for the DTE Energy Know Your Own Power. And Jacoby Jones, man, he just continues to show us flashes of brilliance. As he did in last night's game, he made a wonderful catch in the left center field gap, and he also went deep against Jacob Junis, who just absolutely dealt last night against the Tigers.
The home run for Jones, his 9th of the year last night.
And Jacoby spent a little time on the disabled list with a tender hamstring. But judging by the way he ran that ball down in the left center field gap, that hamstring is 100% healthy.
Now the 0-2, swing and a miss. Jones down on strikes.
That's something that Duffy does quite a bit. He will quick pitch the hitter from time to time, even when there's a guy on first base that's not going to run. And a lot of times it catches the hitters off guard. A little fastball at 91 right by Jacoby.
Here is Victor Reyes, the switch hitter, batting right-handed. Victor looks at a ball outside. Reyes right now trying to snap an 0 for 10. We'll see how his playing time shakes out in the month of September with the anticipated call-up of Kristen Stewart. Little chopper to third base. Backing up there is Dozier. Quick throw is in time. Advance the runner to second with 2 outs.
Dozier played first base last night. O'Hearn is playing first tonight, but Dozier's natural position is third base. He played the bulk of his games in the minor leagues at third base, over 300, but since coming to the big leagues, he's played a lot of different positions for Ned Yost. I guess they're just like in the same situation the Tigers are in, Mario. They want to look at all these guys in different positions and kind of shake it out at the end of the year and kind of see where guys fit in best.
Really, there are 3 teams in the Central Division in pretty much the same boat. Tigers, Royals, White Sox, where they're going to play a lot of young players in September. Minnesota, although they've had a very disappointing season, they still have a few more veterans than the other 3 that I mentioned. So yeah, I think you're right. We'll see a lot of new faces the final month. Here's the 1-0, and Candy looks at a strike.
And Nico Goodrum playing first base here tonight for the Tigers. I don't think the Tigers quite know exactly where Nico's best position is, but they do know he's a good big league player.
For the Tigers, as far as September call-ups, I think more than likely you'll see more pitchers than position players. You might see maybe 1 or 2 position players. I think Dawel Lugo has a chance. Of course, Stewart as well, but I think the majority of them will be pitchers.
And they'll have to call up another catcher as well.
And a catcher,
with all the pitchers that are going to be on the roster, they're going to need somebody else to help out that pitching staff. I've heard Jared Saltalamakia's name as a possible call up in a few days.
1-2 on Jamer. Up and in, back him out of there, 2-2.
Good pitch there by Duffy. Now we'll see what he does. I mean, a lot of times when guys come inside like that, they go back outside with a changeup or a backdoor breaking ball. Very seldom they come back inside with that same fastball.
Pulled to third, foul.
Did come back with a changeup. Grinder's a big boy. 6 feet 5 inches. Big catcher. And biggest catcher in the big leagues, as a matter of fact.
Toward third base, they're gonna let it roll, and it just barely goes foul before it hits the bag.
It's a nice job there by Dozier. You know, waiting until the last second to that ball, just a hook foul, and then picked it up. Wait, pick it up.
Last night's win gave the Royals 8 wins over the Tigers this year. They lead the season series 8-6. And they've gone 3 straight years of winning the season series against Detroit. Swing and a miss up top. And Candelario strikes out to end the inning. Well, Seattle manager Scott Servais made an interesting bet with his closer, and Servais had to pay up. We'll explain next. Bottom of the second, Royals will send Lucas Duda, then Dozier and Bonifacio. Here against Michael Fulmer, an 8-pitch first inning for Michael. He looks sharp. Duda, the DH. Strike one to Duda on the outside corner.
And Lucas has been swinging the bat very well since the All-Star break and driving in a lot of runs. As a matter of fact, batting .370 with runners in scoring position is Lucas Duda.
Duda in his last 30 games has knocked in 22 runs. Been pretty good at home this year as well, batting .300 for the Royals at Kauffman. Now the 0-2. Oh, just missed. Fulmer again will be at about 85 to 90 pitches in this one here today. Little chopper to first base, foul.
Time now for StatCast AI powered by AWS. Well, you can tell that Duda really pulls the ball to the right side of the infield. That's where Candelario and Ronnie and Nico are standing, waiting for one of those ground balls.
Two and two on the former Met and former Ray.
And Fulmer's had one start against the Kansas City Royals this season. It came way back in April. No decision in that particular game for Michael, but the Tigers won that game on a walk-off homer by Jacoby Jones.
Swing and a miss. Duda is out of there. One gone. Time now for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Back in July, Scott Service bet Edwin Diaz that if the closer got to 50 saves this year, he would get a haircut to match Diaz's. Well, on Saturday night, guess what? The young closer had to make his manager pay up. He got his 50th save, so take that.
Look at the face on Service, though.
Not happy.
He's like, what did I just do?
I got to pay up. Candelario handles the ground ball from Dozier.
You got to give him credit, though, for manning up and getting the cut, though. Check him out. He's like, no way did I just do this. My wife's going to kill me.
Well, he can throw the hat on, so during the games, no big deal. Walking around town, something different, though.
50 saves already for Diaz. Man, he might just challenge the all-time saves record this year of 62 set by K-Rod. K-Rod.
Yeah, Frankie Rodriguez. Here is Bonifacio now with 2 outs. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, nice little slide piece there featured by Michael Fulmer. He looks awfully good today. The ball coming out of his hand nicely. 95 miles an hour.
Fulmer gave up 2 runs to the Royals back in April in 7 innings, and he allowed a home run to Mike Moustakas, but not a whole lot else in that start. One and two.
And Michael stands on the first base side of the rubber, and what it allows Michael to do is get that fastball away from the right-handed batters. You can see where he puts that right foot on the mound right there, and that helps him and get the ball down and away from the righties and down and into the left-handers when you see guys standing on one side or another as far as the rubber is concerned. Very seldom you see guys stand right on down the middle of the rubber. It's either one side or another. Michael also shakes that glove a little bit when he puts his hand in there to make sure that the hitters can't tell when he's reaching in there to get the changeup. Watch the glove. Starts to shake that glove a little bit when reaching in there for that pitch. That way you can't tell when he's throwing a changeup, because a lot of pitchers, when they do reach into the glove and grab the changeup, they reach in there with their whole fist, and a lot of times hitters can pick that up.
Now the 3-2. Slice to right center, base hit. 2-out single for Bonifacio. The Royals have their first hit. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Tigers' 68 World Series team September 8th. The Cardinals are in town at 6:10. Get their earliest special pregame on-field ceremony at 5:15. First 20,000 fans receive a 68 replica road jersey, courtesy of Comerica Bank. Be there to help celebrate the 50th anniversary of the 68 team. Here is Mondesi now with 2 outs. That'll get away, go to the backstop, advance the runner.
I don't know if that will be a pass ball or a wild pitch. We'll see.
Pass ball ruled, and so Griner is charged with that one. Mondesi now a chance to tie this game.
And Mondesi is a very good-looking young player at age 23. He's going to be the shortstop of the future for the Kansas City Royals. It's a spot where Alcides Escobar pretty much held that spot in the last 8 or 9 years. But there's a changing of the guard here in Kansas City.
And a changing of his first name.
Yeah.
His name is Raul, and he was the third in line. His dad Raul, and then his brother Raul Jr., and then this Mondesi. But he decided to go with his middle name, Adalberto Mondesi, to kind of separate himself from the other two.
Yeah, he and his dad had totally different games. And his dad had a lot of power, had a really good arm from right field. The younger Mondesi, much more speed, and he plays infield, middle infield.
His dad stole some bases too, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a pretty good player. I don't think he was a burner or anything like that, but I think his game was more power and defense, I believe. But you might be right. He might have stole quite a few.
Yeah, he stole 475 bases.
That's a lot.
Driven deep to right field. That ball is hit well. Castellanos going back, or rather Reyes. He'll look up, and that one's going to go.
Wow.
Mondesi last night hit it a ton to left field, this time to right center field, and the Royals have grabbed the lead.
And he's a little bitty dude, too. Man, but the one thing that we had heard is the fact that when he takes batting practice, I mean, this guy hits the ball a long way. I mean, this ball went out there in the fountains off of Michael Fulmer.
This is impressive.
I mean, this is a fastball that's down and in, and he generated a lot of bat speed through the strike zone, and he knew that ball was gone as soon as he hit it. I mean, that's impressive for a little young middle infielder.
I'll tell you what, it's only taken 2 games for us to realize this guy is going to be a really good player in this league.
Dynamic player. We talked about him at the top of our show, as a matter of fact. Identified that he would be someone that Michael Fulmer would have to deal with today.
He hit that ball 426 feet.
And I bet it left his bat at about 105.
Power from both sides of the dish. Phillips takes strike 3, and that will end the inning. The second strikeout for Fulmer, but Mondesi with a 2-run shot, and the Royals have the lead. Alberto Mondesi with a 2-run shot, his second home run in as many games here against the Tigers. And now the Tigers have Iglesias, Castellanos, and Goodrum as we go to the top of the 3rd. First one from Danny Duffy is up top, 1-0. Iglesias a single, scored a run, the only Tigers run in the first inning.
Iglesias had good numbers against Duffy coming in. He was batting .370 in his career against Duffy. And when he singled sharply to right field.
Duffy has thrown a lot of pitches, 27 in the first. There's a strike called.
And bullpen today in pretty good shape for Ned Yost. And Jacob Junis pitched a complete game for his squad last night, so he didn't have to use anybody else. First complete game for a Kansas City Royals pitcher in over a year. Whoa, you got to go back to June 17th, I believe, is the last time they had a complete game out of one of their starters.
First base side heading back to the seats out of play, but that seems to be, save for a few ace type guys around the league, that seems to be the way the game is going, though.
Absolutely. And they really haven't had that ace type guy the last couple of years that would give them 9 innings the way that Jacob Junis gave them 9 innings yesterday.
To center field and hit well. Phillips is on the move. Iglesias a deep out, 1 away.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. Danny Duffy pretty much has alternated the really slow breaking ball and the fastballs to kind of negate the Tigers offense here through the first 3 frames. Lots of soft contact. They really haven't done much against him yet, but stick around. He hasn't pitched very well during the daylight, and he hasn't pitched well here at Kauffman Stadium. So there's a lot of baseball left, but right now Danny Duffy dealing.
He struck out Castellanos in his first at bat.
Yeah, he threw Nick a lot of fastballs, and he finally finished Nicholas off with a nice slow breaking ball.
There's a time when Danny Duffy looked like he was going to be a legit guy that you could throw up there with the best, among the best in the league. Last year was his, well, actually a couple of years ago his best year was 12-3 in 2016.
That was the year when he started the season in the bullpen. They moved him back into the rotation. He just took off.
But I looked at his numbers this year, and he has allowed 6 runs or more in quite a few games this year. 7 starts where he's given up at least 6 runs.
Yeah, it hasn't been a good year for Duff. Their opening day starter. There's Junis. He's chilling today. Tigers can't beat him.
Nope. Pulled to third base. Dozier has the second hop. 2 away.
Five 5-0 in his last 5 against the Tigers with a 2.25 ERA. Just 3 walks in that span as well. I mean, just dominant numbers for Junis against us. But his numbers don't look that good against other teams.
At one point last night, Junis had retired 9 straight, and typically there's that 1 inning where they might load the bases, have him on the ropes, and they just can't quite get to him. But not last night.
And Junis has 16 career wins in the big leagues, and 6 of those are against Detroit. And he pitched differently against the Tigers last night than he had previously pitched against the Tigers.
Wave and a miss, and down goes Goodrum to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Danny Duffy.
Here today against the Kansas City Royals. Bats fastballs firm. He's gotten up to 97. He's also used his other secondary pitches against the left-handers. The good changeup and also the really good slider. His only blemish was the 3-1 fastball that he threw to Mondesi, that Mondesi hit out of the ballpark.
That ball lined to left field, coming over to the corner. It's going to be extra bases for Drew Butera, who leads off with a double in the third.
And Butera went up there looking for a first pitch fastball. He got it at 95 up in the zone and whistled it down in the left field corner and for a stand-up double.
Fulmer had retired 5 straight to start the ball game, then single homer and now double here in the third. Top of the order, Whit Merrifield.
Whit's a professional hitter, there's no doubt, with a runner on second base and nobody out. Whit Merrifield will be trying to hit something in that direction to get Butera over to third base. And if you're Fulmer, you're probably going to want to throw him a breaking ball or two to see if you can get him on that front foot to hit the ball on the ground to the left side of the infield. There's that breaking ball.
Merrifield has 44 multi-hit games this year, and that's why he's batting .313 at the moment.
Is he one of the underrated players in the American League, in your opinion?
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. I think that when you look at his numbers, take a deep dive into his numbers, nobody talks about Merrifield. He can hit with a little bit of power. He certainly hits for average. He will steal bases. In fact, he led the American League in stolen bases last year.
He's got 28 of those right now, and he can play multiple positions. I mean, he can play second base, center field, right field, left field, third base. Can play all over the place.
Right now, he's one off the pace in steals. D. Gordon has one more than Merrifield. 1-2 on Whit. Here's a 1-2, and it's sliced in the air toward right center. And Jones, a long run, tumbling play out in right center field. The runner will tag and move, but another sparkling play by Jacoby Jones.
It's a good at-bat by Whit Merrifield, getting his job done. We talked about Jacoby Jones at the top of the show. He gets great routes. He gets great breaks out there, and they really couldn't call this ball because he didn't know whether he was going to catch it or not. Also, really good base running by the base runner at second base, Drew Butera. He stayed right there at second base and was able to tag up and get to third base when Jacoby caught that ball.
Infield in now for Gordon. Didn't like that call.
He sure didn't.
Probably had a beef. He popped up to the catcher in his only at bat. Didn't go. Bill Miller down at third said he held up. Two and one on Gordon. Gordon right now is fourth all-time on the KC home run list with 169 in his career. Right now he's trying to pick up Butera from third. Two and two.
Good pitch there thrown by Michael Fulmer on the 2-1 count. He went with a slider there. Did not want to give in with the fastball there to Gordon with a runner on third, less than 2 outs. It's a hard slider too, 90 miles an hour thrown there by Michael. Michael needs a strikeout.
Driven to right field and deep. Reyes going back. He looks up, and that ball is gone. It's a home run for Alex Gordon, the second home run of the day for the Royals.
second two-run home run of the day for the Royals, and both of those home runs came on fastballs. And Gordon got himself a mid-90s fastball at the top of the strike zone in just a short, quick, compact swing. Got on top of it and hit it right over the 387 sign.
10th of the year for Gordon. 4-1 ball game now. Royals have the lead. Ryan O'Hearn fly to center field in his first at bat. Oh, right back to the mound, and what a play there by Fulmer, who flagged it down with his glove. Two gone. I think it was a Rocket. Fulmer quick as a cat to pull that one in. Did he catch it, or did it catch him?
It might have caught him.
Now Lucas Duda.
Michael Fulmer now has given up 16 home runs this year after only giving up a total of 13 last year.
Two-0. Modesty got him in the second, and now Gordon here in the third. Three-0 on Duda with Dozier on deck. 3 of the 4 hits today for the Royals of the extra base variety. Strike call. Duda called back. Fulmer now at 45 pitches. He had an 8-pitch first. Everything is inside to Duda. Three and two. Got him. A strikeout of Duda ends the inning, but 2 more runs in on the home run by Gordon. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire. has extended the lead for the Royals. A 2-run shot for KC. And now battling the sun for the first time. We see sunlight here at Kauffman Stadium. First one is down low to Mikey Matuk.
It's turned out to be a really nice afternoon here in Kansas City.
Ronnie Rodriguez, Grayson Griner to follow. In there, a strike called right at the letters, and now 1-1. It was actually not raining, more drizzling this morning when we got to the ballpark. Cloudy, overcast, kind of chilly actually. Now a beautiful day. Mikey singled in a run in his first at bat, the only Tigers run so far. Way outside, now 3-1. Umbrellas being used for the sunshine today, not the rain.
Right.
Toward left field, Gordon is on the move and he'll run it down. One away, time for a game break now. Mickey York. All right, Mick, here it is 4-1 in favor of the Royals on a pair of 2-run homers. Ronnie Rodriguez popped up in his only at bat. Oh, 2 on Rodriguez. Talking about the Tigers' struggles on the road this year, 19-45. They are hitting only .228 as a team on the road for the entire season. Which is, I guess, a big reason why they have struggled to win games. Bats have gone stone cold away from Comerica. Here's the 1-2. Ronnie lays off 2-2. Duffy wanted that one, but clearly low. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Rodriguez. Griner on deck. Duffy with 27 first inning pitches. Then he threw 20 more in the second, but really got things in order in the third. Only a 13 pitch inning, and that helped his pitch count a little bit. Popped up shallow right field. It's going to be Bonifacio. 2 gone. By the way, if you can't catch the games on TV, you know you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. It's made available by Oakland University. Here's Griner now with 2 outs. Yesterday before the game, Grayson Griner was taking ground balls at first base. And we talked to Ron Gardenhire about it a little bit and said, well, you know, it never hurts. And I think that more than thinking about playing him at first base, it's good for catchers, he said, to take ground balls to help with their hands, the reflexes, things of that nature. But who knows? I mean, he could play some games at first.
Yeah, it does help, though, because if you think about it, really, the catchers are really the only ones that can't simulate like taking ground balls daily. I mean, you can't beat catchers up by having them block balls all day long. So what you do is you put them over at first base, and then you just let them work with their gloves and move the glove around and keep balls in front of you to keep the hand-eye coordination sharp.
Makes sense. 2-2 on Griner.
Gordon, as a matter of fact, the left fielder for the Kansas City Royals, he continues to take a lot of ground balls at shortstop almost every day. course, Gordon was a really good shortstop in college. I believe he went to Nebraska.
He did.
All-American, all that stuff. Big-time college player. Then he came to the big leagues, and they put him at third base, and it didn't go so well there for him. And they moved him to the outfield, and he turned into an all-star.
Well, I think you'll see a lot of players, whether they're outfielders taking ground balls or vice versa. I think it's always good maybe to do some things that you're not used to doing.
Different motor skills.
Duffy wanted that one, was a step back to the dugout, and Angel Hernandez did not give it to him.
Duffy better be careful. No Angel's behind the plate today.
What are you saying?
Angel will go off.
3-2 is high, ball 4.
Second time he's walked Grayson today.
2-out runner now for the Tigers. That's the third walk, and that's part of the reason why he's at 80 now here in the third or the fourth.
Really, he might not be long enough in this game to get a win.
He better hurry up.
80 in the third.
Now Jones, who struck out in the second. Jacoby now has 12 career home runs, and 5 of those have come against the Royals, including last night's. Of course, Jacoby had his first walk-off homer on May 15th. He'll sky this one in the air toward left center field and deep. Phillips going back to the track, reaching for the wall to make the catch. And the Tigers are done here in the fourth. No runs, a walk, 1 left. And it's going to be Hunter Dozier to lead things off. There's a strike called. Looks like Jose Iglesias has left the ball game. So Rod, you noticed something early, and apparently something was bothering him.
Yeah, first at bat. I noticed after he got that base hit, once he got down to first base, he was limping, and then he continued to limp on and off the field until they finally have replaced him.
Ronnie goes to short. Goodrum goes to second, and Ducey is now at first. Strike call now, 1-2 on Hunter Dozier. lower ab strain for Iglesias.
Here's Iggy after he got the base hit the opposite way, his first at bat on a breaking ball. You could just notice after he got about halfway down there, something started to bother him, and then he got to first base and he had a grimace on his face.
Ducey will go into the 2 spot in the Tigers lineup. 2-2 now on Dozier. 2 out of 3 with 2 doubles in the ball game last night. In fact, Dozier had a big 2-run double in the 5-run third. Dozier was a first-round pick back in 2013. He went 8th overall that year. That was the year that Aaron Judge was drafted 32nd in the first round. You want to know how inexact of a science scouting can be sometimes.
You just never know.
Ooh. Little chin music there.
That's the second time Michael Fulmer has gone inside with that aggressive fastball to Dozier in the mid-90s. He's got Dozier's attention, that much is for sure.
Three and 2 on the leadoff man here in the 4th.
Ooh.
Hammer to left center field in the gap. That ball is hit well. That one's going to go to the base of the wall. It's going to be extra bases. Dozier rounding the bag. He's coming to third, and he will make it diving in with a triple.
Good base running by Dozier. First of all, Michael Fulmer dusted him a couple of times in the at-bat. And then he comes back with a pitch, and Dozier hit an absolute missile. I mean missile off the out-of-town scoreboard, and the cutoff man was missed there, and Dozier was able to pick up the cutoff man missing it, and he was able to get to third base. That breaking ball was crushed by Dozier. Now once he gets to second base, he's going to read the throw of coming in from the outfield, and he's going to notice that the throw goes over the head of the first defender, which allows him to get to third base with a triple. And it should have been a double.
Infield in a couple of steps. Slow roller toward third. This will not score the run as Chamber throws it out.
Get off me, ball. He got all in this kitchen, didn't he?
Had a sandwich. Made himself at home. Well, Gardy has talked seemingly all season about how the Tigers really have to get better on hitting the cutoff man and outfield play. That has been an issue, and that's something that I think going to the offseason and into spring training next year is really going to be addressed.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Infield still in a couple of steps as Mondesi steps in.
Very difficult for a ball that was hit that hard to left center field off the bat of Dozier, who's not a burner, to get a triple. Right center field possibly, but not left center field.
That's going to get away, but it's not going to be far enough. They're not going to try and score the run as Dozier holds on.
And one thing we've noticed about Michael Fulmer here in the 4th frame, he's really pitching inside aggressively. He's given up a couple of 2-run home runs, one to Alex Gordon and one to Alberto Mondesi, making Mondesi move his feet right there.
Think he could have scored on that play?
It'd have been tough.
1-1 on Mondesi.
What you saying? He wasn't anticipating like he should have been?
Yeah, I think a little bit maybe. That ball did carry him back to Griner pretty good. 2-1.
Another good friendly fastball count here for Mondesi. You got to watch Mondesi too. Even though he hit a home run, this dude's got really good skills to bunt the ball too, man. He's a good player, good offensive player.
That's a base hit down the right field line. That'll get a run in. Mondesi going for 2. Who knows, maybe 3. He's going to take the turn. Here he comes. He's trying for a triple. He has just tripled down the right field line. Well, that is some speed right there, folks.
Dynamic young player, 2-1 fastball inside, and Mondesi, not only is he thinking 2, but he's thinking 3. And he got to second base, and look at the jets that he turned on once he got here and turned this corner. It took him very little time to go from second to third. He could fly. I mean, he could fly. It took him 11 seconds to go from home to third.
Not even a throw at third base, and now it's 5-1 Royals. Infield's still in.
All the damage today done against the Michael Fulmer fastball. The 2 home runs and that triple right there off the bat of the youngster Mondesi.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. That ball get to the outfield wall?
I'm not sure if it got there or not. I was too busy watching Mondesi, to be honest with you.
It did not get to the outfield wall. He got a triple on a ball that didn't even get to the wall. It'll miss outside, and the count now on Brett Phillips, 2-1.
And they got 2 triples in the inning.
And 5 extra base hits. There's a base hit to right, and he'll get another run in. Phillips motoring. He's going to try for 2. It's another extra base hit, a double and an RBI for Brett Phillips.
How about the aggressiveness that these guys are jumping on the Michael Fulmer fastball for 1, and also the aggressiveness of the way that these guys are running the bases today. We saw Dozier. He stretched a double into a triple. Mondesi, that's a triple because he could fly. And how about this youngster right here, Phillips? I mean, this is a base hit, basically to right field. He goes to second base. It's a double. These guys are really hustling out of the batter's box.
Kind of reminiscent of the running Royals of the 70s.
Right.
They are picking them up and laying them down, and Michael Fulmer now has given up 6 runs on 7 hits.
And there's been nothing soft about any of this contact today.
6 extra base hits of the 7 for KC. Got action. Buck Farmer is warming up in the Tigers pen. Here's the number 9 hitter, Drew Butera. There's still only 1 out in the inning. Butera led up the 3rd with a double. Michael now has had 66 pitches. Driven to the gap at left center. That's going to get down and get another run in. It's going to split the gap and go all the way to the wall. A double for Drew Butera. The number 9 hitter has a pair of doubles.
Gardy's going to have to go get Michael possibly here today.
That is 2 triples and 2 doubles in this inning.
And that's the last thing that Gardy wanted to do here this afternoon.
Turned into a 20-pitch inning so far. Still only 1 out.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch on Michael. He has gotten all the way up to 97 with that fastball today.
Oh, and 2 on Whit Merrifield, who is 0 for 2 in the game. 7 of the 8 hits today for the Royals have gone for extra bases. And their 7, 8, 9 men have done a good portion of the damage. The numbers on Fulmer now: 70 pitches, 45 strikes. Merrifield came in batting .353 this month. In on his hands, he popped it up. Goodrum at second, and Merrifield retired. Two gone.
And Ron Gardenhire going to go get Michael, man. For whatever reason, man, he just struggles in this ballpark. Came in 0-3 with a 5.65 ERA in 3 starts at Kauffman Stadium.
So they were hoping to get 90 pitches out of Fulmer today. They'll call it quits at 71. Fulmer will depart the scene. Buck Farmer comes in on the Tigers bullpen. We'll be back.
Because he didn't want him to get too far past that pitch limit. Today, as you alluded to, Mario, the pitch count, they were hoping to get him closer to 90 pitches. It looked like he was going to try to let him work through the trouble he experienced in the bottom of the 3rd inning, but eventually he had to go get him today. So back-to-back brief outings for Michael Fulmer as he continues to work his way back from the oblique strain.
Yeah, Johnny, 8 hits today, 7 of them for extra bases, which means Buck Farmer is into the ball game now, facing Alex Gordon.
Michael Fulmer has that look on his face as to what in the world just happened. I mean, I'm throwing 96, 97. I've got a good slider. I've got a good changeup, and somehow, some way, they have scored 7 runs against him. It's going to be a long 5 days for Michael until he gets his next start. He was 14 of 19 in first pitch strikes, so that wasn't an issue.
Wall side windows numbers on Buck Farmer. Gordon homered in the 3rd, his 170th home run, 4th all-time in the KC list. He passed Hal McRae. He was tied with McRae. There's a ground ball to the right side. Nico has it. And that will finally end the inning, but they get 3 more runs, and we go to the 5th.
Started with Dozier. He hit a triple off the left field gap, and then you had a Mondesi with an extra base hit, Butera with an extra base hit, Phillips with an extra base hit, and most of them coming on fastballs. The only breaking ball that was hit for a knock in that inning was a triple off of Dozier's bat.
Meanwhile, Victor Reyes will get it going here in the fifth. Tigers now 7-1. Off the end of the bat foul. The count is 0-2 on Reyes. Candelario and then a Ducey here in the fifth inning. Victor bounced out of the second. Swing and a miss. Reyes out on strikes, one gone. You know, it's kind of jarring, Rod, when you see a guy like Fulmer with the stuff he has just give up as many runs and consecutively all the extra base hits.
Well, the hard contact too, part.
Yeah.
I mean, that was some hard contact. I mean, you start looking at that ball that Dozier hit, the two balls that Mondesi's hit today. I mean, they've hit the ball hard today.
Unsettling to say the least. Here is Jeimer Candelario. Ground out strikeout for Jeimer.
And now Duffy just throwing soft stuff up there, just change ups and breaking balls. That's what he was able to punch out Reyes on, a slow breaking ball.
In the air toward left field, that's Gordon under it. Two gone. Tigers are concluding the 68th 50th anniversary weekend when they face the Cardinals on Sunday, September 9th at 1:10. Arrive early for a pregame Q&A with members of the 68 World Series championship team, and the first 10,000 fans receive a 68 replica pennant. Go to Tigers.com for more information. Here is the Ducey, his first at bat after coming into the ball game as a defensive replacement. Jose Iglesias had to leave the ball game. Ground ball, foul ball. That was close.
Ducey hasn't had many at-bats against left-handed pitching this year. This is only his 11th at-bat against a left-hander. And most of Ducey's at-bats have come against right-handers, whereas he's batting over 300.
We're talking about Duffy struggling for the most part this year. Last year, lefties hit 167 against him. This year, 264. He's not nearly been as effective against left-handed batters.
It's a telling stat.
He's gone to 2-1 now on a Ducey. Count him, strike three. Duffy with a snappy fifth inning. 6 strikeouts now for the Royals lefty. lead here. They got 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and 3 in the fourth, knocking Michael Fulmer out of the game. And now it's going to be Ryan O'Hearn to lead things off as we go to the 5th inning. Buck Farmer goes to work, and the first one is high and away, 1-0. O'Hearn, then Duda, and then Dozier. Royals 7 runs, 8 hits. Tigers 1 run, 2 hits. 2-0. Farmer came on to get the final out of the 4th. Reno. Farmer had that huge month of June in which his ERA was 0.71. He was throwing his best baseball of the year that month. The 3-0 pitch, and it's in there, 3-1.
I think Buck is finally comfortable pitching in the bullpen. It takes a while for you to really come to grips that you're not going to be a starting pitcher in the big leagues and you're going to be a reliever. And sometimes it takes a while for others too.
Walked in, ball 4, so O'Hearn is on. Here's the 1-800 Sam call of the game. You might recall a player by the name of Mike Sweeney here in Kansas City. He is a Royals Hall of Famer, multiple All-Star games. Sweeney, a great player. He's right now a special assistant to baseball operations. And Sweeney, as the story goes, really helped out O'Hearn because O'Hearn was left off the 40-man roster in the offseason, which disappointed him. Went down to AAA and was having a rough year when Sweeney gave O'Hearn a call and said, look, man, you've got some talent. You can make it at the big league level. You just got to continue to grind away. And then O'Hearn gets to the big leagues, has success, and he's the first man that Sweeney called.
Yeah, he told O'Hearn that you have to control what you can control. The fact that he didn't get called up last year, and only because Hosmer was playing first base. I mean, they weren't going to call him up and just sit him on the bench, but still, I mean, if you're a player and you've had success in the minors, you want to get to the big leagues, and that's exactly what O'Hearn wanted. And he was struggling this year in the minor leagues until he had that conversation with Mike Sweeney.
Sweeney took it upon himself to help the young man out, and well, O'Hearn has come up and he's had a couple of big hits for the Royals. Just never know. I mean, there are a lot of guys that just start the season struggling, and all of a sudden they find themselves in the big leagues because of circumstance. In the Royals case, they made a lot of changes to their roster this year, and he's gotten a chance. And what do they say, Ron? All he wants is an opportunity, right?
That's all you need is an opportunity.
Lucas Duda has fanned twice in this game. They are playing to pull on the infield on Duda.
He's been hot lately. Check out these extreme splits on Michael Fulmer. On Buck Farmer. 143 is all left-handers are hitting against him this year with 22 strikeouts, and right-handers over 200 points higher. I don't know if I've ever seen splits to that extreme.
No, I don't think so either. Fouled away.
And for those of you that are wondering why Buck has a lot of success against left-handers, it's his changeup. He has a well above average changeup, and he won't throw that changeup for the most part to the right-handed batter. So really you go from a guy having 3 pitches to a guy just having the 2 pitches if you don't want to use that changeup to the righties, and that's why righties have more success than the lefties do.
Slice to left. It's going to get down. Base hit.
The approach the last couple of days by these Royals hitters, man, has just been on point. It really has.
Let's bring in Johnny Kane.
Yeah, guys, you're talking about Ryan O'Hearn, and yeah, I had a chance to catch up with him actually this morning. And you know, when they had Players Weekend, the back of his uniform said Bro Hearn. But just to give you a sense of the type of competitor he is, I was talking with Mike Swanson, who's media relations director. He says he's a guy who comes in almost has a scowl in his face in the morning because he's so intense. He's an intense competitor, but once you actually break the ice, he's one of the nicest guys. And O'Hearn said the same thing about Mike Sweeney. He said when he first came down and talked to me when I was in rookie advanced ball down in Idaho Falls, he said Sweeney came down, kind of gave a motivational talk, and as you talked about there, Rod, you know, kind of control what you can control. But he said it was Sweeney, you know, Sweeney played with some fire, but he's one of the nicest guys you'd ever see on the street. But he played with some fire over his 13 years in a Kansas City uniform. So those guys kind of, he feels like their games are a little bit similar in the way that they go about it from a competitive standpoint. And again, they forged a friendship here, even though there's a little age gap in between.
Here's a ball popped up in the shallow left center field on the charge. Jones. Jacoby runs it down.
You know, it's nice to have the assistants to the general managers walking around every single day in the big leagues. And, you know, you have some of the guys that go down to the minor leagues, just as Mike Sweeney has done. Alan Trammell, he's always down in the minor leagues talking to some of the younger players, too. And it's just invaluable for having those guys around in a uniform, guys that have been in the big leagues for a number of years that are willing to share knowledge with you.
Hey, Johnny, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday.
Hey.
It's Johnny's birthday
Johnny
today?
Kane.
Hey.
He just turned 25 today.
Let's keep it between us, huh?
Okay.
I'll go with that. I appreciate it, man.
As young as you look, Johnny, you shouldn't be afraid to tell people how old you are.
Hey, man. I feel 25. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
And you look 25.
Hey, Johnny, did you get your training in this morning?
I got a couple miles in this morning out on the plaza, so I felt good about that.
Excellent.
Little birthday 5K.
Oh, nice. Better you than me, my man. There's a strike call now on Bonifacio. 7-1, Royals have the lead here in the 5th inning. They're threatening again with 2 on and 1 out.
Johnny Kane going to New York City on his birthday. How about that?
Oh, that could be dangerous.
Could be trouble.
And he'll get back into the seats out of play. Bonifacio singled and scored in the 2nd. Royals have hit 2 home runs. They have hit 2 triples. And they have a bunch of extra base hits, 7 of them to be exact. Now the 1-2. Tigers have only 2 hits, and again for the 2nd straight game they jumped out early. They got a run in the 1st on a single by Matuk to drive it a run, but it's been all KC since. Got away from Griner, advanced the runners. Wild pitch.
A changeup got away from Griner there. Looked like it bounced off his left shin guard and trickled to the right far enough to allow the base runners to advance.
Infield coming in now for the Tigers. The 3-2. Ball 4. Had to load the bases. And here comes Ron Gardenhire. He's going to go to the bullpen. So let's see. Farmer faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batters.
Yeah, 2 walks in the inning. Ron not happy.
Gardy expected more than just 3 2/3 out of Fulmer today. Now Farmer will depart. And the Tigers go back to the bullpen. We shall return. Tire for tires and auto service. Everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And it's Chevy Truck Month. Bring on the new and hand down the old. Chevrolet, find new roads. Back here at Coppin Stadium, game 2 in a short 2-game series. Tigers Royals all KC right now. They lead 7-1. And back to the bullpen go the Tigers. Wall side windows pitching change. It'll be the right-hander Lewis Coleman.
And Coleman familiar with this city. He pitched for the Kansas City Royals for parts of 4 seasons. And pitching in his 41st game this afternoon for the Tigers.
They're loaded up for the Royals. And the first one curls outside to Mondesi.
And Mondesi already has homered and tripled in the game.
Halfway to a cycle.
And
he got the 2 hard ones out of the way. Here's the 1-0 pitch.
Yeah, Mondesi started the 2017 season as a starting second baseman for Kansas City, but he struggled. He was sent down to the minor leagues, and Whit Merrifield took over that job and still holds that job. And now Mondesi playing his natural position at shortstop. So I guess it's worked out okay for the youngster.
That it has. Now he's gone to 3-0 with no place to put him.
And don't think Mondesi will be swinging 3-0.
On Mondesi. Coleman with 2 scoreless innings on Saturday versus the White Sox. Lefties this year batting .237 against him. Mondesi now 4 for 6 in the series. Here's the 3-1. Walked him. Ball 4. That'll force in a run. This is 4th RBI of the day.
That's 3 walks in the inning.
2 by Farmer and now 1 here for Coleman. Still loaded down with 1 out for Brett Phillips. Coleman can't throw strikes. He inherited a bases loaded situation, and now he's got to find the plate quickly. Driven to right field. Reyes. Catch is made. Duda tags. He's coming home. Throw comes back into the middle of the infield. RBI for Phillips on the sac fly. Score Lucas Duda. Hey, as you enjoy it, Miller and I look forward to the Hold True moment later in today's game.
A lot of crooked numbers on that scoreboard for Kansas City. 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, and now 2 more in the 5th. My goodness.
9-1. Royals have the lead. Here is Butera. He's got 2 doubles against Fulmer in this game.
Yeah, we were talking about Butera last night. He backed up Joe Mauer for a number of years in Minnesota when he was playing for Ron Gardenhire. And now he's backing up Sal Perez here in Kansas City. That backup job, man, real good job, man, if you can get one. And Butera's done a very nice job at it since he's been in the big leagues. He's going to end up with 15 years in the show probably.
That's pretty good. That's a nice little pension.
Oh, my goodness.
Slow roller toward the shortstop. Ronnie will throw him out. That'll end the inning. 2 more runs in now. 5 in the books here in KC. 9-1 Royals. Sixth inning here in KC. Mario and Rod back here at the ballpark, and well, two things strike me, Rod. First of all, we'll start with Michael Fulmer. I have not seen him give up as many hard hit balls as he has today.
And especially on the fastball, man. I mean, every time he threw that fastball, it was 95 to 98. The Kansas City Royals were waiting for it, and they hit a lot of balls hard. 2 homers, 2 triples, bunches of doubles today against Michael. You're right, I haven't seen Michael get hit this hard in a while.
The other thing is that for a young team, the Royals have done a good job of playing situational baseball, hitting the ball the other way. I mean, they've done a really good job.
Well, the one thing that Ned Yost gets out of his teams, and we watched this when he had the very young team back in the day before the Kansas City Royals were a world championship type team. Man, they run the bases hard. When they hit the ball, they are sprinting. I mean, literally sprinting out of the batter's box. So this team really, really plays hard.
Castellanos rolls out to Dozier, 1 gone here in the 6th.
Nicholas Castellanos got his first major league hit against Danny Duffy back in September of 2013, but no success for Nicholas against Duffy today. They will forever be intertwined.
Here's Nico Goodrum. Slicing one on the backhand at first, O'Hearn, and there are 2 gone.
Duffy is making it look easy in the last couple of innings after really struggling through the first 3 innings. He was up to 80 pitches in the first 3 innings.
83 after 4. 60 after 3. He's retired 6 in a row now and sits at 96.
Tigers have made 2 outs on 3 pitches here in the 6th inning.
Mikey Matuk is responsible for the only Tigers run, a single to drive one in back in the 1st. 2-out hit. On the outer edge, 0-1. Tigers today have been out hit 9-2. Roll toward third. Dozier can't get it. It'll roll by him into short left field. Matuk didn't see it. He ran through the bag, and he'll be safe at first. There'll be an error on Dozier.
Yeah, sort of a do or die play for Dozier, and he probably had more time than he initially thought to gather himself, and that ball trickled off his glove and then right past the shortstop Mondesi was coming over to back him up.
Ronnie Rodriguez, a pop up and a fly ball. It was the first error of the ball game for either side in this game. Way out front.
A nice little change up there thrown by Duffy at 78 miles an hour.
McCarthy in the bullpen for the Royals. Toward right field. On the move is Bonifacio. He'll run it down. Tigers are out here in the 6th inning. 2nd straight 10-pitch inning for Duffy. Bottom of the 6th inning here in Kansas City. If you're ever in town, check out the Negro Leagues Museum. What a place.
Absolutely.
A lot of great history to be learned there. And as we go to the bottom of the 6th, Myers brings you the big money encounter. It's going to be Whit Merrifield. When you look at his numbers in this month, the month of August, he's right up there.
343 for Whit Merrifield in the month of August. How about JD Martinez, man? 404.
Jeez.
And you know, JD not get any infield singles at all.
How much do you think JD being a DH will hurt him in the MVP voting?
I think it's going to hurt him. And there's no question about that. He's going to have to really continue to produce down the stretch if he wants to win that award.
Slice to right, base hit. Royals going the opposite way a lot in this series.
Don Baylor won the MVP for the California Angels. I believe it was 1979, and he DH'd about 62 times that year. So he played some outfields. He was still playing. JD Martinez is probably going to end up with about 85, 90 games this year as a designated hitter. So we'll see if it's enough to allow him to beat out the guys like Betts and Lindor and Ramirez and Mike Trout.
I don't have a vote, so it doesn't really matter, but I do kind of struggle with that because he's having such a dominant year offensively. And, you know, JD, we've seen him play right field for the Tigers, and he was certainly an adequate right fielder, but there's a line double play that'll help.
He's got a chance to be a triple crown, really. I mean,
right.
JD, I mean, he's in the triple crown conversation, and that's not something that we talk about every single day. Here are the guys that we think have got a legitimate shot of being the MVP in the American League. Mookie Betts, of course, having a great year. I mean, he leads all of MLB in WAR. And you look at Trout over here with a 460 on base percentage, already 30 home runs. Jose Ramirez, a spectacular year. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be very difficult. I mean, I guess the key is, will you give it to a DH over these guys that play two ways every day?
I think analytically, it really is going to hurt JD Martinez. I really do.
They do have an award for the best hitter in baseball that's called the Hank Aaron Award. There's no doubt JD's going to get that.
Yeah. I don't know. Tough one. Flynn, the lefty, now warming up in the Royals bullpen. Here is O'Hearn with 2 outs.
I mean, there's some other guys that can get some honorable mentions as well. I mean, Chris Davis, also a DH out in Oakland, so that's going to hurt him, but he's having a wonderful year. And where would that Oakland Athletics team be without Chris Davis?
Daniel Stump in the Wallside Windows pitching change becomes the new Tigers pitcher here in the 6th.
He's pitched much better than the 607 earned run average since coming back from the minor leagues. Daniel has rediscovered his fastball 95, 96.
Good one there. Struck him out looking, and O'Hearn is out of there. And that'll end the inning. The A's slowed the streaking Astros last night, and they're certainly not fading away. More in the American League West race and the entire playoff picture when we come back. Yeah, the Astros starting to get healthier now. Altuve is back in their lineup, and well, that Houston team's going to be awfully tough to beat in the postseason.
Alex Bregman has been their best everyday player this season. And their third baseman, shortstop by trade, man, he's a good player.
Griner pops up to open up the 7th inning. One gone. Well, what do you got on this breakdown now in the AL playoff picture?
Well, we know Cleveland's going to win the Central. And beyond that, you've got some interesting stuff going on, especially in Oakland and Houston, Seattle, a few games back in the West and in the wild card. And that Boston, New York's divisions, that's not done yet either. Those two teams play, I think, 6 more times, Boston and New York, at the end of the year.
The Indians are fortunate they're not playing in nervous type games because they are without Trevor Bauer, and today Andrew Miller went back on the DL.
Did he really?
Yeah, with a shoulder impingement.
Oh, the news just keeps getting worse for the Tribe and Andrew Miller.
Here are the wall side windows pitching change numbers on Brian Flynn, and I've got to believe that the Indians have to be a little bit concerned because really, even coming back from the disabled list with the knee problem, Miller really hadn't been all that good.
Nope. They tried to protect themselves by making a deal with the San Diego Padres to bring in a couple of bullpen arms.
One and two the count on Jacoby Jones. We're in the 7th year. Swing and a miss. He tried to hold up Jones out of there. 2 gone. Fans win big with Menards and Fox Sports Detroit. Just visit any Menards location. Pick up your entry to win the Fox Sports Detroit Ultimate VIP Studio Experience Sweepstakes. Your visit will include a studio tour, a meet and greet with the FST talent, and more. Go to Menards, your local store today, and enter to win. Here is Victor Reyes. Brian Flynn began his major league career with Miami. He is listed at 6'7", 255.
Big boy. The Tigers bats really have not made the Royals pitchers work very hard the last couple of innings.
Up the middle, Mondesi scooping. Off balance throw, got him by half a step.
2 10-pitch innings, and here's a 9-pitch inning for Flynn.
Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch.
have been awfully aggressive. I mean, take a look at the energy of all these guys that are putting the ball in play and how aggressive they're coming out of the batter's box. Every last one of these guys is thinking about getting an extra base when they hit the ball. Whether it be a double, they're trying to stretch it into a triple. Whether it be a single, they're trying to stretch it into a double. And if the Tigers miss a cutoff man, they're taking the extra base. This team is playing like we watched them play a few years ago when they were really aggressive with a lot of speed.
Couple of big innings against Fulmer today. They got 2 in the third, they got 3 in the fourth, and a ton of extra base hits for the Royals based on the fact that they are running hard.
2 homers, 2 triples, and 4 doubles. 3 doubles, excuse me.
Tigers have been out hit 10-2, and they bring in Victor Alcantara here in the 7th.
Alcantara has had a nice year. And nearly 20 innings pitched in the 16 games he's been in, and that ERA is real good at 2.33.
Really, he has had only 1 bad outing.
Yep.
On last homestand with the Cubs.
Yep. Back-to-back home runs to Baez and Rizzo.
They're pretty good.
They are pretty good. Baez is in the MVP conversation in the National League, and Rizzo's the glue of that team in Chicago. Good pitch.
Lucas Due to the batter, a single, a run scored in 3 at-bats. Tigers playing to pull. Little chopper back up the middle. Gotta hurry. Duda is out of there. 1 gone. Well, how about the BP Brighter picture as we go down to the Tigers minor leagues? It's the Eastern League Player of the Week, Josh Lester, not John.
How about that week, though?
Josh Lester at 393 with 10 runs scored.
There is a John Lester, though.
Yeah, but he's not in the minors. Hasn't been in the minors in forever. Josh Lester, sorry about that, Josh. Great week, so congratulations, Mr. Lester.
OPS was over 1,000.
Line drive to left, another hit. Royals still swinging it. Dozier has his 2nd hit of the game. Now 11 hits for the Royals. That'll bring up Jorge Bonifacio. You know, with September rolling around, Rod, and all the young players the Tigers have on this team, one thing comes to mind, and that is the costumes that perhaps we'll see this year. With all the young players on the team.
Right.
They still do that? I think they still do.
A little bit.
Yeah. Ooh, right by the third baseman Candelario down the line. Dozier on his way to third is in there standing up.
I think that with the new agreement,
they've toned it down.
Yeah, new players agreement. They've kind of toned it down a little bit. You can't dress the young players up the way that you used to dress them. I mean, you can't put them in dresses and high heels and fishnets no more. You can't do that no more. How about some of those visuals walking down Michigan Avenue?
You got me on fishnets. Yeah, walking down the streets in Chicago.
Yeah, man, they'd embarrass the guys. I mean, they drop them off about 3 blocks from the hotel, and then you got about 7 or 8 guys walking down the Michigan Avenue, some in high heels, some in hot pants. Dude, I mean, it was crazy.
It was painful to watch, to be honest with you.
It really was.
It was painful.
So they've kind of tempered that a little bit. You cannot do it to that extreme anymore, I don't think.
Here's Modesty. They have not gotten him out today. He's got 4 RBIs.
And quite frankly, these young kids, man, they got tired of dressing up.
You got that right.
They're taking over the game. We might see a day when they start dressing up the veterans.
Exactly. That would not surprise me. Jason Hamill warming up.
And we were talking about the last time that a Kansas City Royals starting pitcher pitched a complete game 9-inning complete game. It was June 17th of 2017. It was Jason Hamill.
Junis did it last night to the Tigers. Tonight Duffy was good, but not nearly as long or deep into the game as Junis. High fly to left field, cruising over is Matuk, runner at third tagging. Dozier is going to come home. Here's the throw to the plate. The tag, he's out of there.
What a throw by Mikey Matuk.
Dozier is out at home plate, and that'll end the inning. So the Tigers keep him off the board on a great throw by Mikey. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire. Alberto Mondesi, who in the series run continues to impress. Another homer today. He's knocked in 4 runs. This kid, I think, is going to be one of the exciting players in the Central Division going forward.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, we told the story just a few innings ago of the fact that he was the starting second baseman last year, struggled, and he got sent down to the minor leagues at age 22, and then all of a sudden Merrifield shows up, and you know what Merrifield means to this team. But now Mondesi is playing shortstop, and not only have we seen him at shortstop, but we've seen his power, and it's going to translate to about 15, 20 home runs a year once he fills out.
You know, the Tigers really have to be careful here in the month of September. Obviously not a whole lot to play with or play for, but they certainly have to continue to put good at-bats together, try and finish strong, and today they just didn't have much going to them.
Well, I mean, their last couple of innings against Danny Duffy, Duffy threw 10 pitches in both of those frames, so he threw 20 pitches in his final 2 innings. Then the kid Flynn went out there for the 7th, and he only threw 9 pitches, so only 29 pitches for 9 outs in the last 3 innings for the Tigers, and they've got to be a little bit better than that, for sure.
Well, they got a 4-gamer coming up against the Yankees after this series completes here today, and we still got a couple of innings to go as Candelario leads it off here in the 8th. Jamer, then Adduci, and then Castellanos. Jason Hamill is the new Royals pitcher. Flynn goes scoreless 7th. And Candy looks at a strike.
And we have not seen Hamill pitch in relief a whole lot. Most of the time that we've seen Hamill the last couple of years, it has been in the starting role. He's in the final year of a 2-year contract he signed a couple of years ago. Here's where I'd like to see Candelario on a 2-1 count be a little bit more aggressive. I mean, he allows this ball to get way too deep on him in a 2-1 count, and it's a 91-mile-per-hour fastball, but that's where I'd like to see Jamer get back to the way he was swinging the bat the first couple of months of the season when he was really aggressive.
Hamill has made 298 career starts, 71 relief appearances. Here's the 2-2 to right field. Bonifacio. One gone here in the 8th. How about a Ram pick the stick update today? As you might expect, with the score not a whole lot going on. A 0 today is probably a good thing.
Yeah, 0 ain't bad.
Gibby got 2 with Iglesias before he came out of the game. Mickey with Mikey has 2. I was going to take Jacoby. Simo snatched him from me.
Yeah, you'd have had a minus deuce.
Yeah. Here's Saducci. When Iglesias left the game with an abdominal problem, Ducey took over at first, sliding Rodriguez to short.
What are those? Abs. Yeah, what are abs?
Abdominals.
You got some of those?
In college, I had a couple. They went somewhere. I don't know where they went. Still looking for them. Here's the 0-2. Flared out of play. Hamill had a couple of years ago had a 15-win season with the Cubs in their rotation.
World Championship year, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss, and Ducey is out of there. Hamill with his first strikeout. He was Chevrolet's most dependable player, Nicholas Castellanos. When you talk about extra base hit against the Royals, first Tiger with 9 of them in consecutive seasons versus KC since Curtis Granderson.
The Grandy Man.
Grandy Man can.
Did it back in 06 and 07. Curtis Granderson still kicking in the big leagues.
Yeah,
Man.
he is.
2018, man. Still doing it, man.
And he still looks like he's young.
Exactly, man. One of the best guys in our sport. One of the brightest guys in our sport, too.
Remember that year when Granderson had 38 doubles,
Yeah.
23 triples,
Stolen bases.
23 homers,
Yeah.
and 26 bags.
Mm-hmm.
He finished 10th in the MVP that year. The 0-1, and Nick looks at the ball low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Got action. Tigers have Joe Jimenez warming up. Castellanos, couple of ground balls and a strikeout in this game. 2-1.
Nicholas left the strike zone right there. Might have swung it in ball 3.
Should Nick reach, you've got Goodrum on deck. Tigers got their only run in the first. They have not scored since. To center field on a line. Phillips circling makes the catch in a 1-2-3 inning. 7 straight Tigers have been retired. Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back here in KC, where the Royals have a commanding 9-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Happy Royals fans today, to be sure. Joe Jimenez has entered the fray now, and Brett Phillips looks at ball 1.
It's been a few days since Jimenez has toed the rubber. And you've got to go back to the 24th of August against Chicago White Sox. And it was a rough one for Joe. He pitched a third of an inning and gave up 4 earned runs on 3 hits.
It's really kind of a difficult spot here for Ron Gardenhire. You want to continue to get Joe work. I mean, you can't sit him down the month of September.
Right.
You know, but he's already gone beyond what he's thrown last year. They certainly want to temper his innings.
Yeah.
But he does have to pitch.
Yeah, it's a fine line because he last worked, what, 5 days ago? So then you're asking him to go back out today and to be sharp. And it's tough to stay sharp when, you know, when you've got 5 days in between appearances. But they're not going to overuse him.
Oh boy, that ball hit deep to right field. Reyes is going back to the track. He'll make the catch. 1 gone. Here is the upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Matchups, I should say. These are the probables for the Yankees series.
Well, we will see just about everybody that they have, with the exception of CC Sabathia, Happ, Severino, Tanaka, and Lance Lynn. We've got TBA on Saturday. We don't know who's going to start that game. More than likely, it will be somebody that gets called up that day.
Here is Drew Butera. He pops it up foul, back out of play.
Nice day for Butera. Yeah, backup catcher. A couple of doubles. And behind the plate today, he's been really good at handling the pitchers that Ned Yost has ran out there today. His father scouts for the Toronto Blue Jays, and his dad also caught in the big leagues. Dad's name was Sal.
You didn't play with Sal, did you? That was later.
No, I think I might have played against Sal somewhere along the lines. I mean, if it was winter ball or somewhere. Our paths did cross somewhere. Not exactly where, but I know they did.
Willie Peralta warming up for the Royals.
It's got to be a treat for Sal, the dad of Drew, because he scouts in the American League, and there are a lot of times where he gets a chance to watch his son in person. As he did last Sunday, he had a chance to watch Drew play. He was right here in Kansas City.
Swing and a miss, and Jimenez able to dust him. 2 gone. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Tigers' 68 World Series team on September 8th. The Tigers hosting the Cards at 6:10. Arrive early. A special pregame on-field ceremony begins at 5:15, presented by Comerica Bank. Tigers.com for more information. Two away now for Whit Merrifield. Game on-base streak now for Merrifield, who extended that streak with a single in his last at-bat. Tigers today have only 2 hits, and both of them came in the first inning. They have not had a hit since. They've had a few walks. They've had a runner reach via an error, but that is it. Here's the 2-1. To right field, chasing Reyes back. Victor gets over there to make the play, and a 1-2-3 inning for Joe Jimenez. Let's go to the ninth. All right, guys, thank you. It is 9-1. Last call for the Tigers. And Peralta comes in to face Nico Goodrum to get things started. Here are the numbers on Willie Peralta. Nico swings and misses. He'll be followed by Matuk. Then Ronnie Rodriguez. Rolled foul. By the way, join us again tomorrow for the first game of the Yankee series. Tigers going to the Bronx. Coverage begins with Tigers Live at 6 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Tigers and the Yankees.
And Francisco Liriano will get the ball in the series for the Tigers. He was skipped here in the 2-game series because Ron Gardenhire and Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, they wanted to keep Matthew Boyd and Fulmer on regular rest.
Swing and a miss. Nico is out of there.
A good change up there by Peralta. Yeah, just like we promised, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment, and Mikey Mott took probably the brightest spot of the day for the Tigers. He drove in a run real early in the game, and he made an outstanding throw to Nab Dozier at home plate. Nice tag here by Grayson Griner. That is now the 31st assist from Tigers outfielders, which paces the major league. So that's a good stat for the boys. 31 assists from the outfield. Castellanos has 9 of those.
Mikey singled in a run in the first, reaching on an error in the 6th. Swing and a miss. The Royals 7, 8, 9 hitters in this game, 5 for 10 with 7 RBIs.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
There's your difference. Two and one on Matuk.
Peralta's got a good arm. I mean, he's got 96. He can get all the way up to 98. And he's got that really good arm speed when throwing that changeup at a 10-mile-per-hour differential.
Here's a 3-1. Drill to left field, hit deep. That ball is going back, and Mikey Matuk has homered again.
Look out, Mikey.
He is on some kind of roll right now. That is his 5th home run of the season and his 2nd hit in this game.
And Mikey Matuk is taking advantage of the opportunities that he is getting right now to play left field. Several homers since coming back up from the minor leagues this time around. It's about a 96-mile-per-hour fastball that Mikey knew he got.
The first Tigers hit since the 1st inning, believe it or not.
Man.
9-2 ball game, and here is Ronnie Rodriguez. .404 feet on the Matuk homer. It came on a 3-1 pitch. 2-1 on Rodriguez. Griner on deck. Two and two.
And Peralta throws that breaking ball at a couple different speeds. He'll go anywhere from 82 all the way up to 86 with that slider.
Did not go.
Jay Happ pitching for the Yankees tomorrow. Didn't we see him earlier this year in Toronto? We beat him up pretty good, didn't we?
We got to him, I think. I want to say a lot of runs early.
Yeah, we got him pretty good that day. I forget exactly what the numbers were. He throws a lot of fastballs, so Tigers need to come to the ballpark tomorrow ready to hit that fastball.
And Yankees rotation looks a lot different these days with Happ in there. Lynn. Lost him. Ronnie gets a walk. One out, base on balls. MLB at Bat is your #1 Detroit Tigers app. Customize your experience to catch every moment of the season. Get Detroit Tigers home screen icons, features such as MLB.TV Game of the Day, in-game highlights, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Here is Grayson Griner. Duffy started, gave them 6 innings, allowing 1 run. Flynn a perfect 7th. Hamill a perfect 8th, and now Peralta here in the 9th. Griner 2 walks in this game. And Peralta missing again, 2-1, and now time called as Butera goes out to the mound.
Take a look at each pitch from Peralta. Yeah, before Matuk was able to jump on the 3-1 fastball in the mid-90s at 96. Alex Gordon running out of room and left. Hit those two fans in a bad spot. Right in the hands. Yeah.
That's the worst spot, huh?
And for some of us.
Mikey now a 6-game streak on base in 14 in a row. Way outside again, and now he's gone 3-1. Peralta can't throw a strike.
No, maybe Grayson can hit his first major league home run right here.
Three and two now on Griner. Jacoby Jones waiting on deck. Looked up the numbers on Jay Happ. We scored 7 on him in Toronto. 7 runs in 5 2/3.
Yeah, we won that game 9-1 that day.
He'll be the opponent tomorrow night. Tigers Live postgame coming up. We'll get thoughts on Ron Gardenhire, or from Ron Gardenhire, on his team's plate today. There's strike 3 on Griner.
And Ron Gardenhire today was talking about his son Toby, who manages in the minor leagues in the Minnesota Twins organization. And Minnesota announced yesterday that they're going to call Toby up to the big leagues to serve as a coach on Paul Molitor's staff when Minnesota comes to Detroit in the month of September. So Gardy was really, really fired up about that.
It's a proud dad moment.
You know, your son following in your footsteps as a manager.
Chopped to third base. That is a foul ball.
Ron said his son Toby grew up in big league clubhouses, as you can imagine, at a very young age. Ron was managing the team, so Toby is quite equipped moving around the big league clubhouses. Ron Gardenhire always has his phone out, or sometimes you catch him listening to Toby's games down in the minor leagues when he gets a chance.
Well, that'll be fun for both Toby and Gardy.
And it's a nice gesture by the Minnesota Twins to do that for them.
Here's the 0-1. 0-2 on Jones. Tigers down to their final strike now. Home run by Matuk has given them a run here in the ninth. One and two. Peralta, the third reliever used today by the Royals. Outside, 2-2. He has thrown 28 pitches.
And a lot of those have missed the strike zone. 13 of those to be exact. 13 of the 28. Jacoby has flashed some really nice leather in the series. He made a really nice play today. It was a diving play. Whit Merrifield sliced one the other way. Out of nowhere comes Jacoby flying to make a real nice grab. And he also made a really nice catch in last night's game going into the left center field gap. He nearly outran that ball.
Full count, 3-2. They'll put Ronnie in motion here with 2 outs. Reyes on deck. Got him, strike 3 to end the ball game. A convincing win for the Royals today as they sweep the 2-game series. 9-2 your final. Now we send you to the Call Sam Studios. Mickey York, Tigers Live postgame.